maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the SUV, but like what is, so many people in the city are driving SUVs. So what if he was in an SUV? It's an all-utility city vehicle for him, and for many other residents of this city and many other cities all over the world. If there is waterlogging happening, is the SUV supposed to stop? Is there a rule that the SUV should stop and other cars and the rickshaws can go,
Absolutely,
but the SUV should not go through it?
True. And also this last argument...
There were no police barricades over there.
Yes, please go on.
I was just saying that there were no police barricades or anything that said that there is controlled traffic on that road. Had there been a sign or had there been barricades, then obviously he wouldn't have driven on that road. And anyways, nobody wants to get into a situation like that.
Absolutely.
It's just that when he got into it, he realized that the water has come up to the bonnet, and in a situation like that, anyone who drives knows that you cannot back. You cannot go back. You can't go back. You will only try to move forward.
They've also argued in the court, and this is the last point of argument that I'm going to put across to you, that since he was a local, Manoj would have known about the flooding problem at the Rouse Institute basement. Is this something that Manoj was aware of?
We live in Delhi. I think all of us know that there is a flooding problem in many areas in Delhi. So being a local and knowing that there is a flooding problem, that flooding problem probably happens a few times in a year, but every time it rains, would you stop going on a particular road because there had been a flooding problem 10 days back or a year back or 15 days back? You
Absolutely.
would still, like, he just got, had he known that that road is flooding at that point of time, that was the only way to get to the station. Had he known that the road is flooding, he wouldn't have driven on that road.
Absolutely. And in fact, a lot of the students that we've spoken to in that area, they've said that the landlords, brokers over there, they've prioritized their own interests, profit making, etc., over the safety of the students there. And in that sense, is it the coaching institute? Is it the MCD? Is it the Delhi government? Is it the Jal board? Is it the PWD? Who really do you hold responsible for what has transpired?
I think everybody, I mean, it's the MCD to begin with. Everybody, the MCD is supposed to be taking care of the drains. The government is responsible. The institute, the person who owned the institute, the academy owner, is responsible for, from whatever I've been reading in newspapers, the NOC for the basement was not for a library. The NOC was given for storage. So why was there a library? Why was there a biometric system, an electric biometric system on the door? And there were no escape routes, emergency escapes. There was, so I think the MCD is responsible, but definitely not my husband.
That's the point I'm making. Do you think that this is the most bizarre irony, that today your husband is behind bars, but none of these officials, and there have been official complaints over a month ago to some of these officials as well about the flooding circumstances, and yet no action was taken. Do you think that they should be the ones, facing this kind of arrest or accusation?
Exactly. From whatever I've seen on reports, that on the 26th of June somebody had reported about the institute, the academy, and there were 2 reminders also on that particular report, and so complaints have been, and then there was some complaint that was made about the waterlogging situation also in that area, and nothing was done. So who was supposed to take it? Those are the people who are responsible. When people are complaining and they were not taking action, then they are the ones who are responsible.
Absolutely. And lastly, did you speak to Manoj in the court when he appeared today? Were you able to get a word with him? What's he saying?
No, Manoj was not, and he's in judicial custody right now, so he was not in court today. We met him yesterday, and yes.
And where do you hope?
We are all positive. Sorry?
No, and I was just asking you, where do you hope things will now pan out? Are you hoping for a quick hearing and that the charges against him would be dismissed, that he would get bail? What's the next way out, legally speaking?
We have full faith in our judiciary because I know my husband has done nothing wrong, and we have full faith in the judiciary. And I'm very sure these are all glitches that today, today he could not come out, or the hearing is happening today, tomorrow, at this time or that time. These are just temporary glitches. We trust the judiciary, and something good will come out.
Right. And if I can leave you with a last question. What would you say to the Delhi police now if they're watching the show?
I would not like to comment on that.
Okay, I think you've said a lot. Thanks so much, Seema, for taking the time out and speaking to us here at Times Now. And we certainly hope that justice is done as far as Manoj Kathuria is concerned, because it's a bizarre case by any stretch of imagination. And certainly those who are really responsible for this tragedy, where citizens of Delhi are losing their lives, certainly, of course, need to be brought to book. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. Kerala's Wayanad has been hit by one of the worst natural disasters, with torrential rains triggering landslides leading to more than 100 deaths and, of course, many others feared injured as well. Times Now is on the ground tracking the reality of the tragedy and the trail of destruction that the landslide has left behind.
As we move in from Bandipur, from Karnataka, of course, entering Wayanad, as now, and you can see, hardly able to, of course, access this route. Right now, there are a couple of people who are manning this particular stretch, which includes officials from the Forest Department, who have right now given us clearance, because right now, of course, we are in an SUV, able to pass the stretch of the road. The water at this point in time, up until the tires, and more importantly, no other vehicle, of course, other than emergency vehicles and some of the media personnel who are being allowed. And as we, try to navigate through these stretches, we should note that huge amounts of water, of course, have, entered. This is because various dam gates have been opened. And apart from that, there is also, of course, concerns with a lot of tourists right now being trapped, and the fire department, the NDRF, and everyone trying to work together to ensure that they will be able to evacuate as many people as possible, as soon as possible. As we look at these sort of situations come to the fore time and again, this is an area that does get flooded whenever there is a rainfall. And even now we are looking at a lot of damage in and around, apart from the landslides, to farming areas, to houses, and also, as we see, this particular region, which is a forest land. So we'll really have to see, as we get further into the areas which, of course, have witnessed landslides, what's the extent of damage. The rescue teams who are operating here, there's no break really. I'm going to straight away show you what's happening. I'm at the, one of the areas where rescue teams are right now operating from Chularmala. As we speak, from the nearby village, there are about 22 bodies or mortal remains that have been brought in. People who could be rescued, they have been already. There are people, of course, who are still searching the nearby areas, but as of now, 8 mortal remains have been shifted. They've made this, of course, zip line of sorts, which is being used from one stretch to the other. I'm going to ask my video journalist Pradeep, these are unfortunate scenes here. Another mortal remain of an individual who lost his life in this landslide being brought in by the NDRF personnel and the fire personnel of Kerala, along with the civil defense as well. All of them extensively working here together to ensure that they can do enough for the people. Apart from that, the people of Wayanad as well have come together on the streets, helping, the rescue teams. The fire and emergency services of Kerala and the fire and rescue services have been here through the course of the day, helping loads and loads of people. So it's been a humongous effort really by all the people, rescue teams, the locals involved, to help as many people as they can. Thousands, over 1,000 have in fact been brought to safety. While of course we've seen the death toll and the number go above 100, but it is heartening to see that people at this point in time are sticking together, standing by one another, helping as many people as they can. With video journalist Pradeep, this is Deepak Bopana for Times Now.